So I was running my CNC today and there's a storm coming in. So I am, call me paranoid, but we lost power the other day and I just don't want that to happen in the middle of a machine process. So I'm just gonna let this tiny little thing blow over. While I'm doing it, I am testing out these guys. So this one I've already tried. This one's been here. This is a plastic thing that supports my spine. This is the back piece. If you're new to the channel, these are all machined. All the metal part is machined on my CNC machine, which is what I was talking about back there. Welded together. And then these parts are 3D printed. Now this one's new. This one you guys haven't seen yet. It came off the printer last night and I put it up to my body. I just held both cages together and it was a little loose. So I have a sweater on. I just want to see how it feels with this. I'm planning on building a base layer, so I'm wondering if I want to change this design or not. But I'm probably not going to build the base layer till later, and I want to be able to put it on in the meantime. So I don't know what days, I don't know what's gonna happen. Also, look, this weld busted on me right here. I gotta, is it this one? It's this one. This one right here. You can hear it moving. Yeah, not good. It's okay though. We're gonna try to get this on. My father said he'd come out, so he may come out in a second and help me. But I've bent and adjusted the parts and they were fitting. Oh man, now it feels tight. Ugh. Maybe it's not tight, maybe I'm... No, it feels almost perfect. That feels about right. God, I might not be able to do this myself. I think I can do it myself, and then it's very difficult. It feels like it's gonna work really well though. Okay, we'll wait on my dad. I can't do this alone. I'm really thankful my dad will help me put this on, but I fucking hate waiting for him. Even 2 minutes, I'm a very impatient person. I like to work a lot, and I have to build a robot to get me in and out of this suit because this is terrible. It's goddamn terrible. Maybe I'll wait for the Mark II. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's a little hard to get up. I want to do some bigger screws that are coarser. Those will have bigger holes and coarser threads.
How big was the other one? All of them went in easy, except the one on the other side.
Okay, cool. Oh, look, it actually floats now. See that? I got this front piece in.
Awesome.
That fits pretty good.
Yay.
It's a little bit, you can see that actually, that's pretty cool. It rides to this. Now if I completely drop my lungs, it slides down a little bit. Now when I have the headpiece on, that should keep that from happening. If it stops touching me for a second, the head, it should maybe add a little bit of weight to the head, but not much. So, you know, the top of the head may have a little bit of weight on it, but just enough to kind of keep everything kind of up. But obviously, probably a little tighter, and with rubber that could squish, would keep that like a spring, keep me like a spring in between it. This is just hard plastic right now. This is literally like the roughest way you can do it. If I had some good squishy silicone, which is what I want to do though, honestly, I may make the entire first part of the suit just out of hard plastic. I mean, it's like the fucking Mercury rockets or something. No thrills, let's just get it done kind of thing. And then come back and change all those in the future. It's probably what I'm gonna do. But with this base layer on, it fits pretty good. If I was gonna remove the base layer and just want a t-shirt on underneath this or something, I could sew, I have a base layer I could sew out of like really shitty fabric. I could sew that as like a test piece, because this is a test vessel. And if I want, I could replace it with Kevlar. I should do that probably before I use flamethrowers around it. The Kevlar is flame proof, and I want to get aluminized Kevlar, so it'd be shiny base layer, or something else fireproof. It doesn't have to be Kevlar, but yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie, but if you're listening, that's kind of cool. Kind of looks good with this fabric underneath it, I don't know why. Kind of looks more epic that way, doesn't it? Kind of fills it in. But you can see how this is floating. It's not really touching my shoulder. It feels like it's touching a little bit over here. It would hopefully be floating just a little bit higher. Yeah, it'd probably be floating right about here. So it'd be a little bit of upward force that I'm not getting from this. But it really is, it's got me in the middle of the suit quite nicely. And this is what it would actually kind of feel like to actually be wearing this thing. And man, the range of motion, I've decided, oh yeah, man, I killed the range of motion on this. I mean, let's see when we actually get the parts on there, but this bodes well. And you can see this joint right here would be up right about there, and that'd be my neck forward and backwards. And we gotta remember, let's do it this way. You gotta remember, so it'd be right about there. You gotta remember, there's not a ton of motion anyway. So there's only like, I'm an Iron Man. And the first Mark I was like it was bulky. And that's how this one's gonna be. It'll get better with future iterations, but this one will be a bit bulky. But there's not a whole lot of motion there anyway. And there's some motion this way. There'll be actually quite a bit of motion this way though. That's just how the joints work. They come out working better that way. This is really cool. It feels really good. I am maybe a little bit worried about the pressure on my head. So I would want to make probably the part of the head like really form-fitting. And I think it's gonna need to be rubber. Like I said, I wanted to do hard plastic, and I may end up doing that in some spots. I could also print with a rubber too, called TPU. I just don't like print. The print I did with it, it's expensive, and it didn't work all that well when I did it. Though I could do it. It is a possibility, and I might. Oh good, the sun is coming up. Look, I can go machine. Can you see? But this is cool. This is cool. This feels really good. I think I might actually machine this for a little bit and wear it for a little while just to see how it feels and what I think. I think it's going to sag down. It's going to rest on my shoulders. I can kind of almost for sure think that's going to happen because it's not being supported by the top of my head. But it is really cool. You can see how, let me see if I can do this. You can see how like if I turn my chest, it sticks with my chest really well. Like much better than a backpack. This is much better than how like a backpack would stick with the body. This thing really sticks with the body and moves with the body like really well, which is good. That's what we want to see.
I hearing you.
I love the way this looks as you take it off. It feels like I keep seeing a motorcycle. I don't know why my suit reminds me of a motorcycle. It just does. It's metal and it's welded together and it's got this awesome shit bolted to it. Maybe that's why. Let's see, I think I've been in that suit for, it's not a suit yet, the chest piece, deep chest piece, not even the superficial part yet, by the way. About 3.5 hours. So it's a good amount of time. And that's hard plastic. It is a little uncomfortable. I think the points on the back of the spine may be a little bit too sharp, or the middle needs to come in. Probably the middle in instead of the points out. Maybe a little bit of both. The front actually felt pretty good. The only thing is that like what happens is it kind of scoots down and kind of compresses the sternum a little bit as it scoots down. It sinks every time. Like when you exhale, it scoots down a little bit, and you can't inhale as deep the next time. This shouldn't be a problem. And I said before, because it'd be at the top of the head, that would only be actually if it's not on the ground. If it's on the ground, so I've had the feet done, I shouldn't feel that at all, actually. It should be completely supported itself, so that shouldn't be an issue. So I think the fact that I can wear that in hard plastic for 3 hours, it's not the full weight of the entire torso yet, but still, without that thing being supported at all, it means that that is working pretty well. It could just probably use, yeah, I think it's a good sign. I think it's a good sign for sure. So, yeah, that was me wearing a piece of exoskeleton armor, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, suit, a piece of it for 3 hours. I actually wore it today. The last time I put it on, but I didn't have the front piece on. Now I've actually worn it, and that's kind of cool. Bye, guys. Alright guys, I have my vise fixture plate. You can see here I have raw stock just sitting here. That's how it'll work. And I gotta do a couple things. I gotta remove a little bit of material here so my clamps fit better. And then I wanna machine these. But I'm getting this thing trammed in, and I've noticed a weird thing, and I just wanted to bring you guys on my machining journey as I figure out the dumb shit I've done. Obviously, I made it too long. I already told you guys this. Totally just fucked this up in cam. Thought I put in an extra hole too big, so it's in here. But then over here, you see it slips off the side. And so I did it this way, put the clamp here, and thought it would be no big deal. And then I realized I'm putting a lot of force, clamping force this way, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Maybe, yeah, you can kind of tell. Yep, you can tell there, especially like over in the when I put my hand there with the shadow, you can see, yeah, you see the light back there? That's not good. So what's happening is like the clamping force down here is causing this to bow up. And it's really not a huge deal because I cut this with this machine, assuming I have the same clamping force, which I don't. But if I did, this is why I use torque wrenches, and I really should get on that. But this was cut, and then it's in the same exact spot, so it should be exactly where the machine thinks it is. So when I put these in here, they should come out really precise. The only problem is that when I actually built, I hate this setup. This down here is terrible. I was trying to do this, which is elegant, but this is terrible. So now I have, if I ever want to use this and I want it to be as precise as possible, I have to use that, which is really annoying. Like, I have to clamp it in this exact same way every time I want to use this if I want them to be perfect. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to grab this, and I wanted to grab it when I have the vices. I actually wanted to hold it in the vices and just put it in there, but now I know it's going to be, so it'll be warped this way when it's cut, so then it'll be warped here, and there'll be like a low spot here as it springs back, which just sucks. It's just annoying. I mean, I guess like you could counter it by trying to put a clamp back here or some shit like that, but it doesn't work. It's not good. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. So I guess maybe I could at some point like build something that would go around this and then clamp it down from the outside or something, like by putting bolts here or some crazy shit like that. But all in all, it's just you learn these things as you go, and I wasn't thinking about that as I did it, and then I noticed it now. So, you know, it is what it is. Probably if I ever want to like sell a bunch of these or make a bunch of these, I could either put them back in the same spot and just run a whole bunch at once, which would be annoying but would work. But eventually I could remachine this if I wanted to sell a bunch of these. But I'll tell you what, this is going to work very good to make the vices, and I'll probably will leave this on here. I'm going to guesstimate what my torque was last time, and I'm going to leave it on here, and I'm going to machine probably one to start with as a test run, and then I'll probably machine all the vices that I want off this thing at once, and then I can take it off and I don't have to worry about this again unless I need more vices. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know how many I'm going to make. I'm probably going to make 4 of the ones that move, and then I only have enough material for 2 of these guys. And then I was thinking maybe if I wanted to have them on a welding fixture plate, I could make more. And the nice thing about this is it's very easy to set up and make many of one batch. You set it up, you put the clamps on, and you just run it, and then you have a bunch of these go out, you take it, and you just run it again. So, yeah. Well, this is my machining journey. So, there we go. Ooh, you know what? I wonder if you could run it and then take this out and put the new one on and then use the same tool. I'd probably be pretty good at locating, but then you'd be taking it in and out a lot between each machining op. It'd be really easy if you had an automatic tool changer, which I do not have. But I don't know. I'm gonna get this out. I'm gonna get this material removed on these guys, and then we'll build a test piece. Weird things happening, guys. Whenever you move something, shit starts to get weird. I ran the same pass again, and I took material off all of these and that one didn't get touched at all. It's very weird, very weird. And I didn't even change it. I decided to run the same pass I ran last time just to see if it was, you know, in the same spot. Turns out it wasn't. There's a little tiny burr on my datum that may be part of the issue. I need to file that down. I have this clamped here. It's a little bit lower. It's still pretty high, but what I'm thinking is actually I have plenty of clearance from here to here, and since this thing is kind of fucked up anyway, and I'm probably not going to use it a ton, I mean I might, but you know, I say that now, I may end up using it a lot to make a bunch of them. Maybe I'll sell these and someone will want a bunch of them. But anyway, this is more than halfway down, so as long as I stay pretty fucking low, I'm only dropping like 10 thou below the midline of this anyway, kind of thinking I'll be fine. So maybe I'll measure the height of this and I'll go put some blocks in the cam and make them part of the fixture or something like that, just so I know exactly how much clearance I have. It's probably a good idea actually to model these, just so I know I don't accidentally hit them with something. But I'm considering just leaving it how it is. I may run a pass on this to try to bring it in, but do like a 5 thou pass and just cut this part. But yeah. This is what happened. Like, I did the facing pass, which I should have filmed. I don't know why I didn't. I just was in the zone and wearing an exoskeleton, so it's a lot of things to do at once. I did a facing pass all with my big guy. So the facing pass, it goes yeet, 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 cleaned it up, and I've done a contour. The idea is to flip it over and finish that contour, and before I do that I'm gonna drill some holes in the top first, but flip it out and put a chamfer on it. So drill the rest of the holes, chamfer, flip over, right? Okay, as this thing ran around, which this should be perfect off of this datum. This corner was put here to put the tool right over that point so I can probe that corner and have it be perfect. That's the theory. It came over here, and it should know exactly where this is with a high degree of accuracy. And yet, it cut way more on this backside and way more over here. This I could understand. This should be very fixed. Like this, it could be off because I made it too long or something. But this doesn't make any sense why I was cutting here. So it cut deep here, and then it came and then missed like the first 3 passes in the front and kept cutting in the back. So really not awesome. This entire datum thing here is a pain in the ass. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish this one. I think I'll probably drill the holes. I'll probably just go ahead and try to do all of it, just to see. I could just do the squares, you know, I could just do a block. You know what, I could do that. I could cut it and then just do a contour and then see how it looks on the way out. I might do that, I'm not sure yet. This is just where we're at right now and what I'm thinking. I've cut in the top side now. Oh, the top side, and put the chamfer in. Now, you'll notice this line. I went ahead and just got ahead and did this because I didn't realize it was going to be a problem. When I cut this, I had enough room with these clamps. These clamps not being flat, when I cut it over here, I had enough room to do that. But then it got shorter, and I can't go all the way down. So I'm definitely going to have to bring these back out in order to get these to clamp down all the way. So I'm going to have to do that. These are going to have to get flat. So more work there. This little thing right here, I just decided to go ahead and run it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to file that out, get rid of it, and then I'm going to measure. I'm going to put it on the my granite plate and take measurements on it and see if I can figure out how it's cutting and if it's going to work using this as a datum. If it doesn't work, I'll come in and I'll just, actually I have no idea what I'm going to do. Hopefully it works. Alright guys, this is where I'm going to leave you as we talk about this dude right here. So I have the error written on here. So this is essentially a vice jaw without any of the furniture that would make it a vice jaw, right? So I just did the contours and the facing passes. There's that line that's still definitely an issue. And one thing that you can't really tell is that whether or not it's lining up or not. And if we zoom in here real tight, you can tell that like this top part seems to be squished a little bit this way, and this bottom part seems to be squished a little bit this way, right? So unfortunately, they're not, the error, and even though it's supposed to be pretty small, the error in, it looks like it's a little bit better on this side, the error in perpendicularity, so like the ability for the machine to actually draw a right angle, is off on my machine, and it's adding up when this is flipped over. So when it's flipped from here to here, it may actually be a better idea to flip it this way, maybe. It may be better to spin it like this as it's flipped over instead of, I think I flipped it directly over. I can try to do that to take out some of this error. Let's look at the error in dimensionality here. So that is this way. So this is 1 thou, 2 thou, 2 thou. That's pretty tight along this. So they're running pretty close this way. Here, same story, 1, 0, 0. So pretty tight. This is the first op, which was, I think that's the first op. Yeah, you can tell by the marks there, which were left by the second op, and the first op marks got cut away. So you can tell here that this is very accurate this way. I haven't actually measured this way. I should. I haven't measured across, but hold on, I'll go do it right now. Here, these are the numbers for the distance this way. So it was 3 and 5, 3 and 5. So it's 3 thou bigger on this top side, or on the first side, it's 5 thou thicker. And then on the second side is 3 thou thicker. Don't know what's causing that. It's a pretty big amount to be off when the Y is not off that much at all. So it's kind of weird, but don't know what's going on with that. Maybe some slop in somewhere in the Z-axis maybe is wobbling. So what happens is the machine, if it encounters a pressure this way and it's not super rigid, it can lean. So it doesn't seem to be leaning this way and this way, but my Z-axis is all moving around this way. So I may need to tighten up potentially the bearings, because I don't think I have those that tight. The roller bearings. So if I could tighten those up, maybe I can get that in a little tighter and actually bring that in. So I may want to do that. Let's see here. I don't think I told you guys about these numbers right here. So this is the Z height. So this is the tool is cutting this way, or it's cutting this way because it gets flipped over. And what happened here is we're looking at, I think that's 7 thou. Yeah. So 5 thou under, 8 thou under, 7 thou under. Quite a bit. Again, you know, 10 thou, this machine should hold 1 thou. So this machine is just giving me all kinds of troubles, and it's not very perpendicular or precise or anything. So I definitely got to get rid of that line. And then what it seems like is going to happen is I'm going to have to fix these. And I think the way I'm going to do that is by lapping these. So I'm going to put them on my granite fixture plate and put sandpaper down. And then I can sand these, and I can make these actually perfectly flat. Can't make them perfectly perpendicular, but I can make them perfectly flat. So that should help and make these a little bit better than they are. And they're small enough that I can do that pretty easily. So I should be able to make these still fairly precise and awesome. or I could just leave them alone and run with them not being that great. I mean, they'd probably work. So there's options. I'm not entirely sure which option I'll take, but I'll figure it out. This is all I got for you guys today. I'm going to sleep on it and see what I come up with. All right, bye. Beginning to think I'm a better Iron Man maker than machinist. I know I keep saying this video's over, but I keep coming up with ideas. This was sitting here, right, as raw stock, right? This is how I think I'm going to do it. Face and do the ends. Get those. And then flip it 180 degrees. And then any geometries that need to be done. But I'm focusing on the faces, but then any holes, anything that'll be cut will also be cut at this time. And then I'll face and maybe clean up the other end here. So clean up the ends, face, clean up the ends, face, clean up the ends. So now these two faces are good. And this depth should be right. And I think, long story, but I think I know what the error is from this Z height being off. And I think I can adjust it. Also, it's pretty consistent. This I actually measured. I measured this one wrong. They're almost all 8 thou. So it'd be pretty easy to fix, right? So I can get that Z dialed in. And then I'll have this top and this top done. And then the distance between these two should be pretty precise. So then I'll take it out of here, move it down, skipping this one, into this one. I can't get it all the way in there because of these bumps, but you'll see this fits in here and it's actually quite loose. But this one is meant to be this height, but it'll be a little thicker when I correct that error I was talking about. And then I'll machine this surface, any geometry it needs in it, flip it, flatten. Oh, and so I'll machine this surface, any geometry in it, and I'll be able to put a chamfer all the way around it, take all the edges off. This one, if there's any stuff that needs a chamfer, I'll have to do it with a file as I switch it from here to here. But this, I'll be able to use the tool to do it. It'll be because all of these will now be precise here and here. And then I'll face it, do any geometry that's necessary, chamfer it, and then I'll flip it to the last side and face it because it'll still be raw stock at that point. Face it off, and then probably, because that'll just be like the jaw body, and it'll be flat, is face the others, and then put a chamfer on it. And then if I ever want to do any stuff where I have like a V in there for round stuff, which is one of the main things I want to do with this, I could add it at this point as well. And actually, I don't need this one. The one that fits this, don't need this. I wish I would have figured that out and thought more about this before I did it and realized I could have done it with 2 instead of 3. And maybe I could have made this thing actually fit on here. But, you know, you live and you learn. That's why I said I'm a better Iron Man than I am a machinist. I don't think I'm cut out for this stuff. I keep fucking it up. So, anyway, I think we can repair it with this one, and of course use this one to make the big one at the end. But I think I can do that. I think that'll work.